Dok ne vidite neku tuđu muku i ne vidite iskustva nekih ljudi, onda ne možete ni da mislite uvek na neki određeni način. I zato vam pokazujemo jednu posebnu priču sa jednom devojkom iz Zimbabvea koju smo sreli ovde u Beogradu. Pogledajte.
Čido. Ndinobva ku Zimbabwe. Kwa Mutare. Kwa Marange.
In the village where I grew up, there was not enough water, and often we had to walk for long distances to get water, and would have to carry it on our heads for like 2-3 kilometers and sometimes even more. And sometimes we had to go up the mountain to get water. When it rains, there was points where the water collected. So I mean, this is like really special to have lots of water like that, and I mean, it's clean.
When I stayed without parents, she passed on when I was 7. She had HIV and she died because of that. I actually don't know really who my father is. When she passed on, I had to start working, going to work in other people's fields. When I stopped going to school, I was 9. And this was because, well, my grandmother was nearly blind. My little brother was very little. And so, like, every morning we would wake up and we'll have to walk to school. But then before that, I have to work the fields because we had a little field that I tended to. I had to work that and then go to fetch water and try to see if there's something to eat, then we have to eat, and then have to do the dishes and all that stuff and then go to school. And school was about 21 kilometers away. And many times we just sat around the fire when we had firewood with my grandmother and there was no food. It's not something you can name. It's a feeling. I remember seeing it on the face of my little brother. He was very thin, and it's a picture that sometimes when I'm sitting with myself and I remember what he looked like, I just can't bear it. And yeah, it's actually a bit of a pain, to be honest. It's painful to actually, we had nothing. So throwing food is something very special, I guess. It's something that I can never really understand. I cannot understand that. Being offered to get married when I was 11 because people thought that's the only way we could help you. And people that I considered to be relatives being very bad to me. I was very mad. I was very bitter. And I could just kind of block most of the things. So it was just confusing. But my grandmother would say something that's, I mean, she would, she was a believer. She would say things and you would look at things in a different way. She protected me even though she was blind and she couldn't go to work. And well, at 11 I learned to grow mushrooms and I was working with mushrooms, and that was thanks to the Zeri Foundation, which now I work with. And one of the things that actually made me happy was that I could provide food for my little brother. He could go to school. But above that, other orphans from the community could actually go to school. And I remember that's the first time I felt like I'm doing something meaningful, and that's something that needs to actually, that's something that I want to grow. And knowing that it's the work of my hand. And I think that's the time when there was the big shift to actually say, this is what I want with my life. This is what makes me happy.
Sing together, ara today, ara
And when I was 16, because I wanted to speak English. It was nice. I thought that would be very, very good. And because I was at a university, Africa University in Mutare, and there were people from different nationalities. So when I have to go and sell mushrooms, I had to say I'm selling mushrooms in English. So to me, that was like, I have to learn. And also my grandmother, she was really old, and she had memories of when she was a child, and she used to speak English, and she would say some of the words she couldn't pronounce properly because she had no teeth anymore. And that gave me a very good feeling to say, yes, I could actually learn English.
Yes, yes, I want to be in the way.
I went to learn more about growing mushrooms, and that was all through the Zeri Foundation and the people in the network helping and supporting.
Under your condition, it is much, much better that you grow so-called hard workers mushrooms like oyster, like shiitake. Nakon svega što je preživela, nakon svega što je se izdešavalo u životu, nije je jednostavno da bude sama u nekom hotelu otuđena, tako da je to je zapravo jedan od razloga što smo mi sada ovde, jer je ona i moj gost privatan.
And the differences of, very small details like the temperature and all the other things, it was very important to have a look at that. With mushrooms, you can actually secure food using the West. Yes, we do have lots of orphans in my country, and there's like about 15% of the young children are orphans, and that's mainly because of AIDS. My relationship with the orphans is easy in that sense that we are coming from the same background. And one of the interesting things that I do when I'm sitting with the girls is, there's some of them that are at a point where they're thinking, well, my uncles did that and they said that to me and they bit me and they burnt me and they did that. And there's so much anger, they're bitter, they are hurt, and it's very difficult to get anything inside. So what we usually do is we sit and then we talk. And one time some of the girls said, but do you really, really think that it's possible that we can be anything more than what we are now? And then what always happens is, of course, I have to tell them my story. I have to tell them the details of what happened, when, and everything. And that I remember all these things, but still one has to come to a point where you can forgive yourself for having gone through that and, come to terms with the fact that you did not cause any of this, and you have no reason whatsoever to hold on to it and make it the limit of where you can go and where you can't go. It's not an easy process. It's not something that just one can work in and say, well, you're going to forgive all your uncles and you're going to start a new life today. It's about connection, and I think that's what these hard experiences are teaching us, at least for me. My hard experiences taught me to actually try to connect with every detail. I mean, if my uncles try to sexually abuse me, yes, that hurts, and I hate them for that and everything. But then what can I learn? And for me, even though it still hurts, it's very special to be able to talk to other girls who've been through the same situations and say, you know what, that happened, and yes, and maybe something happened to these guys for them to do that. Because I doubt very much that they sit and they say, okay, fine, we're going to be the people that cause pain. It's not possible that a normal person can sit and do that. So to look at all these things from a point where you can release these people, and then in the process also forgive yourself and allow yourself to just be and to start again. We're in an age where we spend most of our times complaining and getting grumpy about this and that, and I think it's about choosing to shift the way we look at things, to learn something, to find something good in everything, and just do what we can. Smile a little bit.